Hey guys, it's Chris Dex. Now, before we get into the video, I'd just like to point out I was messing around with some settings in OBS. So, for some reason, the first gameplay, the colour looks a bit off, and you can definitely notice it because for some reason dark matter is now blue. But anyway, today we will be talking about the Season 3 Reloaded update for Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and how it has literally broken this game once again. We'll start with talking a few minutes about the new content and then stating my issues, and I've had some pretty bad issues with this update. But anyway, with all that out of the way, let's get into the video. So, of course, with a new season, we get new maps. 2 new maps and a Nuketown variant. Not gonna lie, Nuketown variant, I do not care about it. Our other maps, we have Signal and we have Haven. Signal, I played one match of, and I don't want to touch it again because it is just more of this face-off nonsense where it's just ultra TikTok brain rot. Whereas Haven, I kind of like the map, but at the same time I don't think it's a great Call of Duty map. It feels a bit small and a bit tight, but then I would still happily play on it. But then we have, obviously, the main selling point, or Activision's main selling point, of this season. Because it is another mid-season update, Activision have released another event pass. This is the 3rd event pass we've had in Black Ops 6, by the way. The previous ones being the Squid Games and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. However, this one is 420 promotion. For some reason, Activision or Treyarch just love weed. And the main selling point of this pass is Seth Rogen. Not gonna lie, because I'm British, I had no idea who he was until I saw his face, and after I saw his face, I've only recognised him from 2 movies. Now, obviously, in the free version of the event pass, you can unlock the new Goblin attachment and the new SMG, and of course, they are absolutely broken once again, because, you know, Activision has to sell bundles. Also, I came up with a theory, because we know, for some reason, in Black Ops 6, there has been a lot of promotion of weed. Even though you're not allowed to swear in voice chat or game chat, Activision are just desperate for you to go smoke some. So I came up with... Let me get my theory up. I wrote it down on my phone. So my theory is that Black Ops 6, Treyarch and Activision are using a 5-step plan to get you to play the game, and it is through weed promotion. Step 1, promote weed. Step 2, encourage players to smoke said weed. Step 3, players then get high. Step 4, players play Black Ops 6. And Step 5, players play longer as the weed makes the game more tolerable. Because obviously with Season 3 Reloaded, what do we have? We have insane skill-based matchmaking once again. We have absolutely awful servers which have been bad since the start of Season 3. I've clips to prove this as well. Now, I'd like to apologise for the quality of this clip because this is an Xbox clip, not a clip I recorded through OBS. However, this clip is a perfect example of how bad the servers are. So as you can see, I'm just, playing how I normally am, not really sweating. And I mean, to the right of the screen, you can see one of the new bugs with Season 3 Reloaded. However, this is where it gets interesting. I got shot when I was behind cover. You can play that back again. I was perfectly prone behind the wall, yet somehow I managed to take damage through a solid brick wall which should not be wall bangable. I managed to take damage and die. And that is not my only clip. Let's see how this following clip unfolds. I'm not gonna lie, maybe I'm just a complete moron, but I have no idea how I hit most of my shots and still lost that gunfight. I will play the clip again in slow motion. This is in 0.5 speed. Now, yes, I know my aim was also quite jittery in this clip. But I'm sorry, I had hit markers. Most of my shots were hitting. How did I lose this gunfight? I am on 20 ping. I am not lagging. So, unless the servers are completely broken, I'm sorry, these servers has felt worse than the X-Defiant servers at launch. Remember the X-Defiant servers where you would literally die behind walls? I've had instances of that in Black Ops 6 recently. And it all started with the start of Season 3. I'm assuming it's because they let go a lot of the servers for Black Ops 6 and moved them over to Warzone because, you know, they're expecting Warzone to blow up, which, I mean, look at the data from Steam charts. Now, I know people are saying, oh, but most Call of Duty players play on Battle.net because, you know, they get better frames. Let me explain something. Steam is the biggest gaming whatever on PC. Meaning, most of the casuals, if they want to play Call of Duty, they will probably play it through Steam because they probably do not care about FPS. And we know that Call of Duty wants to provide a good play space for the casuals. So tell me why. The Warzone release, we are now probably like a month later, and the game is still declining again. Obviously, I'm not saying that Call of Duty is dying and dying and dying, but usually we can assume this would be a similar trend on other platforms. Obviously, you have Ghost of Hope saying, oh, but it's not a weekend, so 90% of the data doesn't matter. Anyway, back to my issues with this update, as well as that you may have noticed me going into my settings, checking a few settings at the start of this first gameplay. That is because, for some reason, I don't know if it's whenever I just close the game and turn off my Xbox and come back on, or whenever I go into the firing range, but for some reason, my FOV gets set to the minimum value, my hit marker sounds get turned off, and also today it completely messed up my movement settings where now it feels like it doesn't feel as fluid. It feels like there's a delay between sliding / crouching and sprinting. It honestly makes no sense how they can fix bugs, but manage to create new bugs that have nothing to do with the fixed ones. Why is my field of view getting set to the minimum value, and why are my hit marker sounds being turned off? As well as that, this update kind of broke the friends list. Now, I don't know how exactly you managed to do this, but I had a time where I checked my friends list, and for some reason, not a single friend was displaying on that list. I could see no one. I could not invite anyone because obviously they're not there. And it also would not let me add anyone. As well as that, for some reason with this new update, now when you interact with someone in voice chat, there is a chance that you may just start collecting a list of their names in voice chat on the right of your screen. I've not tested how far down this list can go, but I got it to at least 6 players. And this is definitely a bug and not 6 people talking, because even after the lobby, I was in a new lobby, none of the previous players were in there, their names were still appearing on my screen. And then, of course, weapon balancing. I don't know why, but weapon balancing extremely sucks right now. I looked at the patch notes. Of course, there's barely a nerf for either the AMAX, the Kilo, or the Grau. And another thing, for some reason in multiplayer, they buffed the C9. The C9 was already, I would say, a top 3 SMG in multiplayer. Why are they buffing it again? Instead of nerfing the top SMGs or buffing the worst SMGs, they are now buffing already good SMGs to make them even better. It makes absolutely no sense. Meanwhile, I hopped on 10v10 today. I wanted to grind my LMG because I'm trying to get a few more dark matte camos. And of course, because of team balancing, that LMG was practically unusable. Because, you know, in Call of Duty, you have to use the meta unless you're just not going to do well. So, to sum this entire update up, it is a complete waste of time. The only thing this update has is a new event pass. Like, it just feels like these mid-season updates now are just ways for Activision to make even more money. However, luckily we have heard news that apparently event passes in future games, you have to have the battle pass to actually get them. I wouldn't say it's the best solution, but it's definitely still some form of a step in the right direction. But yeah, Season 3 Reloaded was that bad, and the skill-based matchmaking was that through the roof that I think in my first play session I quit after 2 games. And I mean, the engagement optimized matchmaking system knew I wasn't engaged because later that night when I hopped on to 10v10, I managed to drop a 3 KD, which I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I'm that good. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please do let me know what you think of the Season 3 Reloaded update in the comments section down below. Make sure you like and subscribe, as it really does help the channel out. Once we hit 500 subs, I will be doing a setup tour. If you want to see any more content from me, obviously let me know any ideas in the comment section down below. But with all that being said, I've been Chris X. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.